Does the Jeep Gladiator need to be more luxurious inside? Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Automotive JT. So does the Jeep Gladiator need to be more luxurious inside? You know, I did a video a while back talking about, could be the end of the Jeep Gladiator if they don't stay current in the mid-size truck market by doing upgrades and redesigns and all that good stuff that all the others do. But that's a completely different video. But before we get started here, I gotta say, I put air in all the tires on all my vehicles today. Only took me about half an hour, 45 minutes. My compressor apparently is not powerful enough. But what a difference it has made. You know, the Gladiator was probably about 3 pounds or so down in every tire. And you know, that happens when you have atmospheric changes. Either high pressure, low pressure comes through, or massive temperature changes. And we've had a couple of those events recently. We've had a couple of fronts go through where both things happened. The temperature changed, although I wouldn't say drastically for my area, but from the high 90s to the maybe high 80s or something. But nonetheless, I did have to put air in all of the tires, and it's made a heck of a difference. First of all, the ride is firmer. You may be able to notice that on the video, I'm not sure, but I can feel the bumps a lot more, and it's just feels a little bit stiffer, I guess. And I gotta say, if I didn't know better, and this has to be in my head, because there's no way that putting 3 pounds of pressure in caused this to happen, but I feel higher up in the air. How can that be? You know what it probably is I just got back from a trip in my new Toyota Tacoma, which isn't lifted or anything, so it's stock height. And the Jeep Gladiator, while not being lifted, does have taller tires on it, so I did get about an inch or so lift in going from the stock tires to the aftermarkets that I have. So it is a bit higher, and maybe that's what it is, because there's no way that putting 3 pounds of pressure in each tire raised the truck enough that I could even feel it. So it's got to be in my head, or as a result of just getting out of a lower vehicle. So anyway, let's get to the point here. As I mentioned, I did a video recently about what the repercussions might be of Jeep being in the mid-size truck market and having to do redesigns and remodels and stuff like that to keep up. But what about the interior of the truck? You know, when I look at it right now, I mean, it's nice. I like it. It looks good to me. Everything meshes together well. The colors are good. Nothing flashy, though. Well, I wouldn't call it bland, but it certainly doesn't jump out and grab you when you get in. I do have the bigger radio screen in here, so that's a little bit more luxurious for me, but it is the same screen that you can get standard in the Mojaves and the Rubicons or any of the higher trim levels. But looking around in here and kind of comparing it even now to some of the Jeeps that I've had in the past, you know, before I had, of course, this was a 2-door. They were all 2 doors. It had the roll bar right here. And in the trim levels that I had, which granted were pretty base, it was just an exposed painted metal roll bar. There wasn't any kind of covering over it or anything. Like there is back in the back, you might be able to see right back there on the roll bar how they have it covered now. It's covered in plastic, hidden. I don't know that I really like that look. I kind of like the more rugged look of getting in and seeing the actual roll bar there, right? I mean, that's kind of part of having a Jeep, is having that roll bar. For me anyway, I just think it's kind of cool looking and kind of neat to see when you get in. But they've covered it up, probably again to make the interior of the Gladiator a little more civilized, a little more luxurious. But do you think Jeep will actually make the interior even more luxurious, if that's luxurious, than they do right now? I think that might be something they do in the future to kind of zhuzh up, that's right, I said zhuzh up the inside a little bit to make it more attractive. Now, I had somebody comment to me that a Jeep shouldn't have anything luxurious in it. It should be basic and blah, 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 blah. You know, that kind of thing, the old school thing. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I'm old school about the roll bar. But, you know, I think Jeep has to be concerned with its clientele. It's people that are buying it or the people that they want to buy it. You know, if you're going to compete in the mid-size truck market, you're going to have to put a product out that is in line with everything else. And of course, bottom line, I mean, they want to sell as many Jeeps as possible. In another video I put out recently, I mentioned that Jeep is number 3 in the mid-size market. Number 3, right behind the Ford Ranger, and a distant third behind the Toyota Tacoma, of course, the king of the mid-size truck market. But they could easily take over number 2. And I've got to think that that might be surprising to the Jeep brass themselves. I mean, when they first designed this truck and put it out, while their goal may be number 1, I would think, why wouldn't it be? Did they really expect it to be number 3, a not so far distant number 2 in the first or second model year? I think it's doing really well. And that's a testament, I think, as to how much or how good of a job they did with the Gladiator and how well received it is amongst all of the mid-sized truck buyers. I mean, if you look what's below it, you've got the Canyon, you've got the Colorado, you've got some other, what are they, Utes, you know, those really tiny mini trucks right now. And Ford better be watching, because right behind them is the Jeep Gladiator, and I think it would be awesome if number 1 was the Tacoma and number 2 was the Jeep Gladiator. Wouldn't that be something? So as far as making it more luxurious, you know, what can they really do? You know, the interior right now doesn't have a lot of soft surfaces. I mean, everything is hard plastic. They could make it a little bit softer, I guess. It's not really changing the appearance so much, but making it a little softer touch for anybody that would want something like that. They could add a little more color, maybe some accenting on the inside to kind of offset things, similar to what they're doing with the Rubicon and the Mojave, you know, around the vents and stuff, and then across the dash they have a different color, orange in the case of the Mojave, and I think it's red in the case of the Rubicon and others, I'm sure. The seating surfaces, you can get leather if you want it. I don't know why you would. After my experiences with leather in the Toyota Tacoma, oh, there's a Voodoo Blue Sport Tacoma. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it right there. It's right behind me now. You might, well, you won't see it over there, but you saw it. Now it is behind me. And it's a girl driving it with heart-shaped sunglasses. Isn't that cute? But anyway, there are a few touches they can make, and I think they can do that really without putting off the traditionalists out there. I mean, you know, you may want a harder Jeep Gladiator, but who doesn't like laying your elbow down on the side and having a nice soft area? I mean, I don't need to have my body torn up just so I can say the Jeep Gladiator is more rugged. So there is room for a more luxurious Jeep Gladiator. I think they have a kind of a thin line to walk, though. You don't want to go too much where you've created a Lexus or Cadillac Gladiator, but you don't want to go too slim where you're driving around a Suzuki Samurai. You know what I mean? So yeah, I do think it could be a little bit more luxurious. Personally, I'm perfectly fine with the way it is right now, but I'm thinking more towards a long-lived, long-lasting, more popular version of the Jeep Gladiator so that the brand grows and we can keep it out there. We don't want to happen what happened to the Gladiator 300 years ago, and that it was just discontinued until this version came out. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Does the Jeep Gladiator need to be more luxurious? Are there some more luxury type things that you would like to see in the Gladiator? I'd be curious to know. Also, real quick, if you're interested, I do have 2 additional channels. Rob Motive, all about my 2020 Toyota Tacoma, and Rob Motive FST, all about my 2021 Toyota Tundra. Check them out, and if you're interested, please consider subscribing. Don't forget to click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. And do me a favor, smash that subscribe button on the way out. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.